Good morning. It is day 24, or is it 42? No, I'm just kidding. We had a lovely stay at a gîte just outside of Moissac. The lovely host, Agnes, made us feel very welcome, and she had a really lovely place. We met an interesting young French guy named Matthew, had a good conversation with him, and overall a really nice experience. Today we're doing basically a river walk. It's 19 kilometers. It looks like it's going to be relatively flat. So a huge contrast to what we've been dealing with so far. It's probably mid-50s right now, so it's really beautiful. So I think we're going to have a good day.
It's been a long time since we've seen this kind of sunshine, but wow, we look a little rough and ready. We've had a rough few days out on the track. With the rain, it made it really muddy and difficult, but we've gotten through it. Today's going to be a glorious day, not only because of the weather, but because of where we're walking along a canal, one of the famous French canals. And we all had a fabulous night's sleep last night at Agnes's house. She doesn't get a whole lot of pilgrims because she's about 5 kilometers before the big town with the abbey that everyone wants to visit. But we thought we'd save ourselves some walking yesterday and come into the city with fresh legs, have a second breakfast and a coffee. My hair's looking a little ratty today, but I don't always wash my hair because it's too cold. There was very little heat in Agnes's house last night. It's very expensive to heat a big house like that, big, beautiful house. So she just does it in pieces, and our room was not one of them. I want to show you my shoes and my pants. Isn't that crazy? I've said before, I was on and off again about the pants, and I don't know how many times I've mentioned them since then. I am eternally grateful that I had these in my bag. I've worn them almost every day. The pants have saved me because of all the bramble and the mud, and it would have been miserable without them. The other thing I'm eternally grateful for is the fact that I changed from oboes to topos, and that's from hiking boots to trail runners. Best thing I ever did. Day 24 and still not a single slice of tape on my feet. Ladies, this one's for you. If you spend any time out hiking in nature, get yourself a cooler cloth. What a game changer for me. I can now pee in the wild without taking off any gear. It's just easy. I like it. Get one. So in the mornings when we start off, we try to leave around average 7:30. And I'm usually leading the pack, walking by myself, because in the morning especially when the light is perfect like this, and there's just so much to see. Stephen and Nina are photographing, and they can't resist anything. So they're pretty pokey in the morning when they get out, but it's when I have my highest level of energy and I march on. I spend pretty much the morning of the day walking alone, taking my own photos and maybe talking with other pilgrims and just enjoying the bird song and whatever there is to see. And then we have our lunch somewhere along the way. They're never too far behind. Kind of go our own pace in the afternoon. So it's not like we're walking 3 across chatting all day, because we all have our different paces and you have to go that way. You can't accommodate everybody else because it's uncomfortable for you. anything is good for business. And then, of course, you got the maintenance. What did we decide we're going to eat somewhere along the canal? Yeah, we'll find somewhere nice. And then just sit and eat. I mean, I think we have like this whole day. On lookout and we can see way down there.
What have we decided?
We're going to sit here on these stairs and have some lunch.
Okay.
And we can see who's coming. Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, it's great.
This was one of the most straightforward walking days that I can remember. I'd say it was almost entirely asphalt, which meant no mud or no puddles. About 12 to 14 of those kilometres were spent on the canal walk, and for all that walking, we only found one picnic table towards the end. Pretty surprising that there wasn't at least a few benches along the way. But then again, that's been our overall experience thus far. We called our gîte host and were allowed to have an early check-in. That evening, after some refreshments, he took us on an elaborate 3-kilometre tour of his neighbourhood. It was nearly 8 p.m. when we finally tucked in to our delicious meal of cassoulet, a local bean and meat stew. It's possible I went into a coma after that because I have no recollection of going to bed. Tomorrow promises another beautiful canal walk with abundant sunshine. Wouldn't it be great if it was like this all the time? Good morning. It's day 25 and you can see this beautiful place that I'm walking in down by the canal, and the morning is just absolutely gorgeous. We had a really interesting experience in the gîte where we stayed. The owner, Philippe, took us on a interesting tour of his area. We thought it was just going to be a tour of his garden, but it ended up being like a 3-kilometre tour of his neighbours. And anyway, it was really interesting. I'm glad we did it. It's a little odd, a little weird, a little quirky, but it certainly made the stay memorable. And we met a real-life shepherd this morning. Can't remember his name, but we're just calling him Jesus because he had a startling resemblance to what we, see in pictures as Jesus. Today we have 20 kilometers or so, and it's going to be full sun all day, high of 71. And some of that is more canal walking, which is, at the moment, is absolutely gorgeous. It can get kind of boring. Weather's about upper 40s. So we kind of had a turning point yesterday because it was it was just one of those days where everything went right. It was a short day. We were able to check in early. Just so many things went right. It was just really a nice walk. So it restored our faith because you definitely do go through slumps when you're walking. And we had a few days of just solid mud and taking shortcuts, doing a lot of road walking around the actual way. And, at some point you just want to get back on it and just do the thing itself. And I feel like we're kind of getting back on it. And the pacing for what we have coming up is pretty good. I got like 18, 20, 22, 21, those kinds of kilometer days, which are totally doable for us.
Another beautiful morning. And we had a great night staying at Philippe's big house. Le Dilettante, I believe it was called. No heat. These great big giant houses, 3,000 to 4,000 square feet, 3 big floors, giant rooms with no heating. He's actually building a little house next to it with heat, where he can live in the winter because it's just too cold to be in that big house. We all piled up our blankets and sleep sacks and whatever we had, slept in our jackets. But we were warm and it was lovely. And we had, for the first time, cassoulet, white beans, usually duck, Toulouse sausage, which is my favorite. It just stews for hours and hours and hours. And it was the first time we'd had it, which was really delicious. I absolutely loved it. We'd never had it before because we are in the region where that dish is served. But the last time we were here, we saw in Carcassonne, which is not terribly far from here. It was right after COVID, so none of the restaurants had opened up, so we never did get to try it. And I feel like I'm going to make it one of these days. It feels like a project worth making. This morning at breakfast, we met another pilgrim that came in late last night, and he is walking with his dog. He is a shepherd, and he spends, I guess, half the year or so with his dog working, herding sheep. And when he's not working, he's just a free spirit. He doesn't have any money, he doesn't have cars, anything like that, but he has friends, he makes friends, he finds people along the way that let him sleep in their yard. He has a tent. Last night, he and the pup slept in the house that Philippe is building for his winter house. It's not finished yet, but he set up his tent in there and slept. And we had a nice conversation with him this morning at breakfast. He's a very interesting guy.
The big 30-kilometer one is the one where we go back on stage.
Yeah, but not for the whole thing, I don't think. Is it?
I think after that we're on a lot of the main stops, I think.
I think what makes a successful walking day for me is one with variety. Is it possible to have too much of a good thing? I'd say yes. The canal walk was special, but really, when you're walking for hours in unchanging landscape, it does lose its luster a bit. Dare I say today was a little boring? Speaking of variety, we actually came across an interesting historic hill town called Puy-en-Velay. There was a pretty impressive overlook with views of the valley below. We picked up a few things at the local épicerie and found a rare picnic table to have lunch. Afterwards, we still had 10 kilometers to go, and it felt drawn out and tedious. But again, honestly, if this is my only dilemma, I think I can safely say I'm doing okay. Still, we managed to reach our destination without incident, and we're happy to check in early at our gîte and give our bodies a welcome rest.